Was not with her, that no one else was with her, but any other details have not been conveyed to me.
And I would ask for your note sheet, did he get close enough to determine if there was any smell in the car at that time from the squirrels?
I'm pretty sure he would have mentioned that at this point.
Okay.
Well, I would think that he would have brought that up already.
He may have not got close enough.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
He'll be able to answer that more accurately.
Went over there real quick, knowing he was going to get those cans, and grabbed him, and then went to him to keep him away from the car.
Right.
I'm just trying to explore that option as well.
Maybe that's a better question. He'll be able to answer more accurately on his distance and and how that felt to him.
Just little things you can maybe ask before we. Number 11 being the 2 dead squirrel incident, or the information I want to touch upon. Tell me about that. Let's see. Casey did you questioned the stakeout because of the smell of the car.
Right.
Okay, tell me about all that.
Casey had advised me on the 15th while I was waiting to fill out my statement before I could go to Tony's house to pick up Casey's stuff. I was in the garage because they had separated my folks from my sister. I sat in the garage with my sister.
With the car right there?
With the car right there, and it was atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't be there anymore for a minute or two, and I had to keep going back inside because the smell was so bad. I sat down with her, and when I referenced the car smell, she said, well, it actually started around Mom's birthday, which is, again, June 5th. She said it started around that time when 2 dead squirrels crawled up under the hood of the car, and they died in there. And I immediately questioned that, just because at that time, per her timeline, with my mother's birthday being the 5th, and my mother last seeing Caylee, she believed at that time the 8th. My sister saying that the last time that she had saw Caylee at that time, she said the 9th of June. I questioned, well, either Mom or Dad would have smelled that. My dad specifically, because he always enjoys to clean the cars, especially on the weekends. If not every weekend, every other weekend.
Very methodical about that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he details the cars inside and out. I mean, that was a background that he had as a car dealer. So, I mean, that's something that he's always done.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I heard that he had prior law enforcement.
He did, but he also helped my grandfather run the family auto business up there as well.
Okay.
So that's what he did after he left law enforcement when I was born, for those 6 or 7 years until we moved down here.
Car salesman.
Exactly. Anthony Auto.
Okay.
So
I just learned something.
There you go. So absolutely. My father was always, he would take pride in making sure the stuff's clean inside and out. I mean, he always did that. And he would have noticed that smell. I mean, and I still maintain that he would have noticed that smell.
Okay.
Frankly, I think he would have noticed that smell even walking. Not even anything being ventilated, that you would have naturally been able to smell, especially if it was in a hood. It would have came out. The vapors would came out the bottom in a way. So even if you
at the front door of your house and wasn't that close to the car in the driveway,
I thought it was potent enough to where you would have been able to smell it
from that distance.
I thought so. I mean, now
by the 15th, but back here,
maybe or maybe not.
Okay,
right. It just seemed. She described it as the smell started, that it all started about that time. She did say that it got progressively worse, and her, is how she described it.
Okay.
So, take that as what you will, but...
the thing you questioned, though, where you say you didn't believe her, was she said that she actually did a little stakeout in the car?
Exactly. Casey described that when she went back to get Caylee, when Caylee wasn't there, that nobody was there, that she stayed there in her car as a stakeout to see if they were going to come back. And she described it as not just that night or not just one day, but as a few days that she did that. And I immediately questioned that to say, okay, number one, you're saying that you were driving your daughter, you're driving Caylee around in this car, even to the babysitter's house, with this atrocious smell. You know,
Right.
I don't believe that she would do that she would put Caylee through that, that she'd put herself through that. And number two, by her saying that she was doing a stakeout in that car for what I would think a stakeout would be at least hours, I couldn't stand it for 2 minutes. And I'm standing on the outside of the car. I couldn't imagine be sitting in the car and smelling it.
About what date did she say she did the stakeouts? Because this conversation took place on
Again,
July
I
15th.
never asked her on the exact day, but as she was maintaining that it was the 9th, she said the 9th. Even though she says 31 days, she said the 9th. So when I was questioning her about that, she just said when I went to pick up Caylee the first time, which again, when she was maintaining the 9th at that time. Now,
The 9th and the 10th, she actually stays with
Ricardo. Casey and Caylee both stay with Ricardo on the
She's
19th,
seen
or the
by
9th rather.
Troy.
Yes.
So we know that it's not the 9th or the 10th because
Right.
we have two independent witnesses with no
Exactly. But
motivation.
I'm pretty sure I would know why Casey would have came up with the 9th initially.
Why is that?
It was pretty obvious to me. My mom's frantic because remember she swore up and down that the last time I've seen my granddaughter is the 8th.
Mom planted the seed.
Exactly. So of course, whether my sister intentionally said the 9th or not, or meant to think the 9th, she meant to say 31 days. You don't.
Right.
If you want to say a month, you say a month. If you want to say in approximate weeks, you say in approximate weeks.
So
She
your
said
mom-
31 days, like she had been counting. I mean, she was very.
Like so.
So my mom could have influenced that, not
So
not
you think if your
on
mom would have
purpose,
said,
but
the last time I saw it, my
Just
baby
thinking
was
out
on the
loud.
15th, your sister may have picked
she
the
would have
16th.
said the 16th. She would have followed suit with that. I mean, it was. You could hear even though we're separated, you could hear everything everyone else was saying. So prior to taking an official statement from my sister, she had already heard all these dates and all this information being thrown out there. So just being, I would imagine, already being in a high emotional state anyway, naturally she's going to assume, well, mom's probably got her stuff together. She probably wouldn't even have thought twice to think 31 days. It's easy to count, but if she would even have known what physical date it was, she may
Yeah.
not have known. So
But she knew
she knew how many days.
some way, somehow.
That's for sure.
Well, I'll give you something else to think about, and I've already told you this, but in line with that, she also MySpaces Troy that she hasn't lived home in 9 days, a lot of drama, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you about it later. Well, that was made 9 days out from this date as well.
There you go.
So there's two common themes that lead us back to,
Exactly.
and see, that's why I really want your mother's time frame and your father's, because those are the last two people with a level of credibility that I would raise my right hand and swear and say, these two people here said, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. No, I do.
So that's been the big motivator to get you guys in here, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because from now, we can start, what's going on?
Right.
From this point on,
Exactly.
I think we beat number 11 here. We got that. Yeah, you comfortable with all that?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll come back and slide across that real quick, that calendar. When you went to get the computer from the apartment, you said it was kind of odd the way that it was. Blue screen and all.
Yeah, well, it was at the. Actually, when I got there originally, it was off at that point. But it was set up, plugged in.
Number 12, I'm sorry.
It was set up, plugged in on the kitchen countertop, and when I turned it on, so I can just try to see if I can get on the desktop there, because I was curious, it came to a prompt where you have to it's saying something to the extent of, the last time it was shut down improperly, there's been data loss, so you can either you can go back to the most recent settings that worked, you can debug in safe mode, you can log in safe mode. It gives you about 4 or 5 choices.